Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager here with both dogs. Otto, who's going to leave early. I'm sorry to say, this is the new Otto. And here is Snoopy, who might stay for the entire half hour because he loves being rubbed. Snoop. Anyway, Dennis Prager here, Fireside Chat number 273. It's my chance to talk to you about what's on my mind and take your questions, completely unscripted. And I want to share with you a thought on one of the most important things in your life, in any of our lives. A new study has come out on happiness. I always get a kick out of these studies. You know my view of studies. I have said it. I don't know if I've said it on a Fireside Chat, but I've said it for much of my life. Studies are largely useless because they either confirm what is suggested by common sense or they're not accurate. In my life, I've encountered one study that went against common sense and turned out to be accurate, and I believe truth is number one, so I acknowledge it was. It is that couples that live together prior to marriage have a higher divorce rate when they marry, which is counterintuitive because you would think that couples that live together know each other better, are more used to living with one another, can figure out, are we compatible? And then, and I'm not talking about religious issues of premarital living together or anything like it, just on the face of it statistically. But the reason it gave was so convincing, as counterintuitive as it is, it turned out to be very commonsensical. So really, as I say, they do confirm common sense, or they're generally wrong. And this was, in a nutshell, people who live together, if things aren't great, it's much harder to break up when you're dating someone if you live together than if you don't live together, because it's really as emotionally wrenching as a divorce in many ways. So people who would have broken up premaritally don't break up, or are less likely to break up if they're living together. So I did not think of that on my own, and that was a very good study, but otherwise they don't tell me anything new. But if you're a big fan of studies and elite colleges, Harvard just came out with a massive study on happiness. I've written a book on happiness. I have many lectures on YouTube and elsewhere on happiness. And I've done, of course, an hour of my radio show for 23 years now, every Friday, the second hour. I've never missed a Friday that I broadcast. I mean, sometimes I just have on vacation, but I've never missed a Friday that I broadcast and gotten rid of the happiness hour. That's very important to me. So I have said for years, you must have friends. Friends make the journey of life infinitely more absorbable, not to mention enjoyable. I have even said for years, you should date for friends just like you dated for a spouse, or you should date for friends like you date for a spouse. And that includes after you get married. You need friends if you're married, not just like, but very similarly to needing friends before you were ever married. Ideally, you're married to your best friend. That's the ideal. But even so, it is great to have them. And I'm specifically referring to same-sex friends. It's a whole other issue. Maybe we'll do one time why I am ambivalent about opposite sex friendships as a general rule. General rules always have exceptions. It is so powerful, according to all these studies, that not having close friendships is as dangerous to your health as smoking, as obesity, as not moving around. I mean, it was amazing. In other words, maybe if you want to smoke and be obese, make sure you have a lot of friends. I've been blessed with very close male friends all of my life. It started in 6th grade. Interestingly enough, I didn't think, oh, it's important for me to have a male friend. I just knew it. I just did it. And it's never been different since 6th grade till today. And I have a world of spectacular friends. In fact, people call my radio show and they will often say, Dennis, if you could have dinner or lunch with anyone in the world, any living person, who would you choose? I get that periodically, and I answer them honestly, my friends. I can't think of anybody I'd rather have lunch or dinner with than my friends. Okay, so you need to know that, and my fear is that the electronic world that so many of you, especially under 30, let's say, live in, maybe now under 40, is to say the least not helping you have real friends. There is no comparison between electronic communication and real life. And by the way, I text a lot. And I think first of all, I find it invaluable in my life because so much is achieved, it's gotten done, but there's no substitute for getting together with people. And I'll tell you another thing that you need to understand for friendship is that you need to find a kindred spirit. It is very important that you share the deepest values with that person. You don't have to agree on everything, but on the deepest things, it really helps. So anyway, you need friends. You should do everything you can to cultivate it. Have time together with them, have meals together, go to a movie together, do anything together, but together. It has been the great strength of my life, my friends. For those of you who are watching on YouTube or other social media, to see the rest of what I have to say and the entire Fireside chat, please go to PragerU.com. We're doing this because we have a legitimate fear that anytime they want, they could simply take down the Fireside chats, and we would like everybody to watch them at PragerU.com.